Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another Oldschool RuneScape video. Today, my 1 to 99 sailing guide. As the name implies, Oldschool's first and new skill in almost 13 years is here to let us explore the vastness of the ocean surrounding mainland and Zaya. You're able to build 3 types of vessels for a bunch of activities, all of which have their niche uses whether you're looking for an engaging way to train the skill, fast experience, profit, and even super chill AFK games. An important question we have to ask is, why should you train sailing? Despite a lot of support, it is no secret that the skill has also been plagued with negativity from its proposal all the way up to release. But whether you love it or hate it, you have quite a few reasons to get at least a few levels. I'll quickly start by saying that if you simply do not like the idea of sailing, you only need level 45 for now to complete the quest The Trouble Tortugans to re-obtain your quest cape. Jagex confirmed that a new quest on the series is coming in early 2026, and a slightly higher level may be required. If you like sailing while you're on your way to level 45 or beyond, which trust me, it gets a lot more fun after 55, something I mentioned in last week's video is that unless you were a maxed player and want to re-obtain the max cape, there's no real need to train past level 87 or 91 for now. These are the highest requirements for both the Frost Dragons and the Marlin Shoal fishing respectively, but we will talk about why trawling is not that good right now later in the video. Aside from that, you got more reasons to train sailing, like being involved in some way or another with Raid 4 coming in the future, new materials, new creatures, new monsters, new skilling methods, new moneymakers, and so on. A big disclaimer before we start. I'm scripting and making this video shortly after Jagex's most recent changes, a lot of which are massive nerfs to some XP rates. If you're watching in the near future, there's a chance that things have already changed, so check the pinned comment for the most up-to-date information. Regardless, I hope this video gives you enough motivation to train, and let's dive right in. Like most of my 1 to 99 skill guides, I will start with quest requirements. The quest called The Pandemonium is to sailing what Druidic Ritual is to Herblore. You won't even be able to start training without it, and it serves as the bare-bone basics introduction to the skill. Aside from that, none of the quests you see on screen need any further explanation other than unlocking new ports at the respective areas, so we don't really need a big segment talking about any of these in greater detail. Other than Song of the Elves, they are all pretty easy, so I recommend you ease your way into these quests to have access to the respective ports as soon as you have the sailing level required for them. Other than ports, you also have a few requirements on screen for crewmates, most of which serve their purpose for their activities we'll be looking at throughout the video. They are almost as simple to fulfill like the quest requirement for ports, as we talk more about them when we go over different sailing activities we'll be doing for experience. And finally, being the biggest expansion in the history of the game, we have a lot of skilling requirements to interact with most of the content sailing has to offer. You are seeing important skill benchmarks on screen right now, the most crucial being your construction level to build better things for your boat, which we will talk about next. Before we get into the early game, I will quickly explain the shipyard and the boat customization, but leave boat setups for the respective categories to avoid overloading the segment. When your boat is at a port with a shipwright icon, you'll be able to customize it. Keep in mind that not every port has a shipwright, but every shipwright will be at a port. Right-click the shipwright NPCs and choose Customize. When you're at the shipyard, click the board west of your boat to see the core boat parts you can upgrade. This includes the hull, keel, helm, and sails as the core of the boat, and other additions include a trim, a flag, and a brazier. You can boost your sailing level to make a core boat part, and it will work after you build it. On the other hand, you have boat facilities. These are additional things you can build on your boat according to what activity you want to focus on, and the important thing to note about these is that while you may boost to build facilities you don't have the level for, you will need the base level to interact with them. For example, I built the Gale Catcher at level 77 when you need 79 for it, and every time I wanted to release a gust of wind, I needed to boost to +2 with a Whirlpool Surprise. Otherwise, I was not able to interact with it. This is especially important for facilities like salvaging hooks, cannons, and fishing nets, so you're not having to constantly boost your level to use them. To close out this point, the only exception to this rule is the cargo hold, since you may store items in higher tier chests you boosted for. We will go over which facilities to build for which type of boat and where in upcoming segments. As of the time of making this video, we have no boat editing feature, so be careful where you build each facility to avoid wasting money. This of course could be added in the future since it's a very common complaint. Alright, enough yapping. Let's get into the training methods starting with the early game. Doing the Pandemonium quest will get you from levels 1 to 5, and at this point you'll only be able to do 2 things: Courier Tasks and a few charting locations. If you're interested in sea charting, I'll have a completely separate segment for it later on to show you a bunch of things I learned when I completely charted the ocean. So for now, we will focus on Courier Tasks. For this, and if you're using RuneLite, get a plugin simply called the Sailing from the plugin hub. These will have you delivering cargo from the Pandemonium to Port Sarim and vice versa. Click on the notice board at any of the ports and look at the icons which represent the ports. Make sure to grab a task from the port you're at, otherwise you will have to go to a different port to grab the cargo and then to your destination. When you grab one at the current location, just accept it, and then take the crates from the table nearby. You then have to board your ship, deposit the crates on your cargo hold, and sail to your destination. Thanks to Sailing plugin, not only will the cargo tables be highlighted, but it will paint arrows on the map showing you a route you could follow. Once there, take the crates out of the cargo hold, disembark your ship, and place them on the highlighted table. We will be doing this from levels 5 to 10. Before we move on to the next step, keep in mind that you should, under no circumstance, accept a task from mainland to Zeya at this level. The trek there is both too long and dangerous, and the raft won't be able to take many hits from creatures along the way. If you want a quick change of scenery, stick to Courier Task from Hosidius to Land's End. Level 10 is important because we unlock Musa Point, the port at Karamja. What I did was checking the notice board at either the Pandemonium or Port Sarim, and tried to chain tasks together since you have two of them active at once at level 7. For example, grabbing a task from the Pandemonium to Port Sarim, delivering it, and then grabbing one from Port Sarim to Musa Point, and another one from Port Sarim to the Pandemonium. We will be doing this for a few more times until level 12. This is the level we need for a quest called Prying Times, which not only helps us reach level 15 sailing. It unlocks a form of sea charting for you to pry crates open and drink rum you find inside the boxes. But more on that later. Also at level 15 you can buy a second tier boat called a skiff, allowing for more facilities, and a new activity called the Shipwreck Salvagin, which again will have its separate segment later on. We will continue doing courier tasks from levels 15 to 20 to unlock the ability to get tasks to and from Catherby, and keep going until level 22. We need this for a quest called the Current Affairs to reach level 23 and unlock another form of sea charting. Keep doing that until 25 to be able to dock at Brimhaven, which is an excellent middle point when going from the Pandemonium or Port Sarim to Musa Point or Catherby. Our final meaningful unlocks are already at level 28 and the Port Khazard at level 30, which is where we can stop to switch things up. So far this skill sounds like your average afternoon as an Uber Eats driver, right? Well, get ready, because level 30 is where things start to diversify and other methods come into play. I will now go over each of these in greater detail in the order I personally recommend doing them, and have a few roadmaps to 99 like I do for all my 1 to 99 skill guides at the end of the video. I will start with the most straightforward way to go from levels 30 to 99, and quite literally what I personally did to regain my max cape, and that is of course the Barracuda Trials. We will talk about plugins, strategies, important levels, and of course where to stop if you want to try other content. Barracuda Trials can be summarized to the Hallowed Sepulchre on water, and this is your high experience per hour at the respective levels in exchange of 0 profit. The good thing about it is that it doesn't cost anything to train besides upgrades to your boat, which must be a skiff. The general idea of this activity is that you have to complete objectives while running around the course, which also has you picking up lost crates on your route. You finish the trial when you both complete the objective and collect all the crates. It gets interesting because each of the courses has 3 different times to beat, being Swordfish, Shark, and the Marlin, each longer and more complicated than the previous one. You can take as long as you want to complete them, which will give you experience as soon as you finish the run, and when you beat the target time you will get a chunky one-time XP drop along an item for each of them. You start with a Temper Tantrum available at level 30, just south of the Pandemonium. To take part in this course, your skiff must have at least an iron helm and oak mast and sails. For each of the Barracuda Trials, download a plugin called the Tile Packs. Search for the trial you're currently at, and clicking on the plus sign will add the tile markers, giving you an efficient route to follow. If you want a live example of all 3 courses, check the link in the description, otherwise the video would be like an hour long. Your objective is to make it to the other side of the storm to pick up rum from another ship, all of this while avoiding storm clouds, navigating over the rapids for bursts of speed, trimming your sails, and picking up all of the lost cargo. When near the southern ship, click on it to pick up the rum, and when you make it back, click on the initial boat to deliver it. You will need to do this up to 3 times, scaling with the difficulty of the route, with more crates along the way. If you feel like you messed up the route, you can click the circular arrow on the top left and confirm you want to reset. Alternatively, you can use Menu Entry Swapper to change the left click option to reset so you skip the confirmation. Since this is the introduction to Barracuda Trials, none of the 3 target times are too hard to beat. You should exclusively camp the Marlin route for the best experience rate at your level, and doing so will net a maximum of around 22,000 experience per hour. You can stay here until level 42 to try Shipwreck Salvagin, but to stay at the trials, aim for level 55. The next trial is called the Jubilee Jive, for which you need a mithril helm as a core boat part, the best hull and sails you can build, and an inoculation station built next to the cargo hold. The best way to get here is by teleporting to the Courier Cove and follow the coastline going west. You then talk to these guys to start a trial. Like the tutorial said, your objective is to grab toads from the boat west, and lure the Jubilee from one nest to another until it ends up at the start, following of course the order you see on the top left of your screen. The higher the tier, the longer the route is, and the more Jubilee you will need to lure, with a Marlin challenge needing a second visit to grab more toads. Clearing the first two challenges is not too bad. When you beat the target time for the shark trial, you will get an item called a captured wind mote. This is for you to build a wind catcher on your boat, letting you store wind motes for you to release a burst of speed whenever you want instead of doing so when you trim the sails. This sort of implies that you need the facility on your boat to have an easier time with any future curses. If you want to see me doing the Marlin trial with a live commentary, you can check the link in the description. But with the wind catcher facility, you'll be taking a few shortcuts to beat the target time, almost guaranteed even if you make a few mistakes. If you camp the Marlin challenge, you can get up to 85,000 experience per hour, which is massive at level 55. We will do this until level 72 for the next course. The hardest challenge is the Gwyneth Glide, for which you only need an adamant keel as a core boat part to start, along the best hull and sails you can build. This one can be a little disorienting to learn at first, since you'll be going through many portals, but nothing the Tile Pack plugin can't help us with. Unlike the previous two courses, your only objective here is to pick up all of the boxes around the course, and there are no rapids to speed up the boat. Rather, sailing near a crystal will generate a wind mote for you to store. The challenge here is managing when to use a boost, and higher tier sail will keep the boost for longer. When you beat the second trial, you'll receive an item called the Heart of Ithel. You'll use it to build a crystal extractor to generate a crystal every minute, providing a wind mote and a nice drop of experience when activated. This takes about 4 ticks to do. Like I said before, check the link in the description for you to see me doing all 3 trials. For the Marlin time, you will pass through most of the crystals to store as much wind as possible, as well as keeping the boost active for almost the entire course. You can see how long you have until the speed boost wears off with the boost information plugin. If you like this training method, keep going until level 88. You can then get the Rosewood Hull schematics at the Shimmering Atoll, and boost the +5 with a Yellow Spicy Stew, hoping to reach level 93 to make a Rosewood Hull. You can also get a higher level to avoid relying on the Spicy Stew, but the Rosewood Hull will provide a significant boost of experience per hour because of the difference in speed. If you have the money for it, I also recommend making a Gale Catcher available at level 79, requiring a Bottle Storm from Armored or Vampire Krakens. And this facility lets you store up to 3 wind motes instead of 2, to make it a lot easier to achieve the Marlin target time. All in all, with the Ironwood Hull we are looking at 160,000 experience per hour, and the Rosewood Hull will bump this to about 200 at the time of making this video. I say this because, like I mentioned at the beginning, XP rates may change in the future because massive changes in last week's update, and if Reddit complains enough, we will see some sort of buff pretty soon. Regardless, you can do the Gwyneth Glide from level 72 to 87, or all the way up to 99. Let's move on to something much simpler, Shipwreck Salvagin. This is the AFK way to train this skill, available at level 15, but I heavily recommend starting at level 42 so you can build a salvaging station on your ship. For the sake of the video though, I will quickly show you how to do it without it first. Get yourself a skiff and build the best cargo hold and salvaging hook you can. Core boat parts are not as crucial here, unlike Barracuda Trials, so upgrade as you see fit. Our first shipwreck location can be found east of the Pandemonium at level 15, south of Catherby at level 26, and west of the Ruins of Unka at level 35. Go to the spots you see on screen and stop at the boat where one of the shipwrecks looks different. If not paying much attention, the sailing plugin will highlight the active salvaging location you can currently use, so make sure your hook is within the radius and click on it to deploy it. You will start getting salvage from the respective shipwreck, and when you get a full inventory, you can fill up your cargo and move around if there's another active location. For some of the spots, you have double salvaging spots overlapping with each other, letting you AFK for slightly longer. When both your inventory and the cargo hold are full, go to the nearest port with a salvaging station. Disembark and start cleaning your finds. You get experience for both salvaging and cleaning, as well as some valuable items along collection logs. This of course depending on which salvage you're using. You are seeing approximate experience rates on screen right now. If you can't fully focus on the game and you want this to be your main training method, do it until level 42. This level is important because we unlock the salvaging station facility. Dig near the cave on the Pandemonium for a key, and go to Chinchompa Island to open a chest containing the schematic, which you can read to learn how to make it. You can then build it on your skiff to clean salvage on board. Starting at level 40, you can also hire crewmates. The higher their deck handiness stat, the better salvaging hooks they can use, and you will get higher percentage of the experience they get when salvaging. You can assign them to the hook while you clean, or for maximum AFK, let them salvage until the cargo hold is full, and then empty to clean it. So we know the basics of salvaging. For any of the higher tier salvaging locations, I recommend building a sloop, which is the highest tier of boat, since you can build 2 salvaging hooks instead. This means that when you're cleaning, you can assign 2 crewmates to both hooks. On screen right now, you are seeing recommended locations for higher salvaging spots. Large shipwrecks at level 53, pirate shipwrecks at level 64, mercenary shipwrecks at level 73, Fremennik shipwrecks at level 80, and finally, merchant shipwrecks at level 87. You will also see all the approximate experience per hour on screen, all of them having you salvaging and cleaning your finds. If you want to let the 2 crewmates operate the hooks, these rates will be considerably lower. 2 more things to note about salvaging. First, on screen you are seeing all the different methods of AFK Jagex mentioned on the latest blog, meaning that there aren't just the 2 ways to AFK the skill, which are the 2 main ones I kept mentioning. Because of this, XP rates fluctuate quite a lot depending on which one you decide to use. And the second, at level 73 you can build a crystal extractor to gain experience every minute. At the time of scripting this video, Wednesday, December 3rd, discussions about the experience nerfs to the extractor as well as many sources of experience are still ongoing. So again, check the pinned comment to be up to date when Jagex has any news. For now, and until things change, remember to click on the extractor every 60 minutes. Let's now talk about the most fun I had on my journey to 99 sailing, charting the ocean. I recommend doing this starting at level 57 to have access to the highest requirement for an activity, or level 78 to be able to explore the entire ocean for you to build an eternal brazier and explore all the way north. If you don't have it already, download the Quest Helper plugin, and click on the icon on your sidebar. You then want to click on the option that says Sea Charting, and the plugin will highlight the charting locations for you to interact with the order you want to see on the side. You can manually order these in any way you'd like by dragging them with the 3 lines on the left. These activities include charting a scenery object by simply clicking on it when nearby, or observe notable areas by parking at glowing spots and clicking on your spyglass. Both of these require level 1, and the plugin will highlight them for you. You can pry crates open at level 12, and you will get the charting experience only after you drink the rum inside. Some have fun effects, and others are quite dangerous. While they can't instantly kill you, some of them can deal massive damage, venom you, or even make random enemies spawn on your ship. If you're a hardcore or a UIM, make sure to check what each bottle does on the wiki, otherwise you could potentially die or wipe. You can chart currents with the duck you get at level 22 after the quest Current Affairs. Click on the duck on the highlighted area, and you can simply open the map to see where the duck will end up at for you to go there and pick it up to get your experience. If doing these back to back, you could chart other locations while you wait for the duck. At level 38 you have access to mermaid riddles. By equipping a fishbowl helmet and a diving apparatus, or a medallion of the deep by combining medallion fragments, you can talk to the mermaids to answer a riddle. The quest helper will tell you the answers, and you need to select the different items as if you're looking for something on the Grand Exchange. The last one is weather charting, available at level 57. When you encounter a troll, talk to them for a portable weather station. Go to the place highlighted by the quest helper plugin, and click on the item for you to do a weather report to take back to the troll. Some of these require for you to be on land, but nothing too far away from a port. Not only do you get experience when doing each of these charts, you get a chunky experience drop when charting a small area, an even bigger XP drop for charting an entire ocean, and completing all 358 charting locations at the time of making this video will give you a whopping 100,000 experience. Altogether, you can walk away with nearly 700,000 XP in around 4 hours of your time. The last thing to mention is that when you completely chart certain oceans, the NPC at the Pandemonium Cave will have new drinks for you. When unlocked, you can buy them at the nearby pub, and adding 25 of each drink to a keg on your ship for passive bonuses, which you're seeing on screen right now. We go back to the flagship sailing training method, Courier Tasks. From Jagex's latest blog, experience per task was improved by about 15% for these to be more competitive with either Barracuda Trials or Shipwreck Salvagin, and I will talk about the general strategies you want to follow to get the most out of it. But due to the random nature of this activity, experience per hour may fluctuate a little bit from what you will see on screen. For the best experience, I recommend level 76. Before you go on Courier Tasks, manage your crew by prioritizing the deck handiness stat. Assign up to 5 crewmates, and even if you are on a skiff which has space for up to 2 people, all 5 of them will help you carry cargo to your ship even if you don't see them on board. What I personally do is teleport to Lunar Isle, Etsteria, and Relica. I check if I have any tasks that will have me deliver cargo to those places coming from southwest. This includes Alderin, Sunset Coast, Deepfin Point, Port Roberts, and Priffinus. You may also encounter some tasks that have you starting at Civitas or Port Piscarilius, but these are pretty out of the way and I personally would not recommend them. Grab as many tasks as you can, capping out at 5 when you're level 84. Ideally, you want anywhere between 3 and 5 tasks that have you delivering cargo at the original spot you picked. If you're unable to fill them up at the Lunar Isle, Etsteria, or Relica, use your Sailor's Amulet to go to Port Roberts or Deepfin Point to see if there's anything on the way. You may also notice that some ports will always have at least one task following a long route, from Alderin to Priffinus, from Priffinus to Lunar Isle, and much more. One of the best tasks in the game is from Sunset Coast to Relica, giving upwards of like 9,000 experience per trip. A big tip I have for you is that if you have to stop at Port Tyrus or Priffinus and then continue north, you can use the Black Portal in the Gwyneth Glide. This will teleport you to pretty much the northernmost segment of the course, and you can exit via a small passage shortly after you reappear. So to summarize a quick run, I do the following. I grab as many tasks as possible at Lunar Isle, Etsteria, and Relica that have me starting at any of Alderin, Sunset Coast, Deepfin Point, Port Roberts, or Priffinus. If bad RNG, I quickly teleport to Deepfin Point or Port Roberts to see if I can fill up my tasks. I teleport to Alderin, grab a task that's guaranteed to take you from there to Priffinus, and get all my cargo. Stop at any of the previous ports I mentioned if I need to pick up cargo, and then head over to Priffinus. This port will always have a task taking you from there to Lunar Isle, so grab that when you drop off the cargo. When I leave Priffinus, take the Black Portal to go north. Head over to Lunar Isle and then drop all your cargo there, grabbing a new task before you leave. Go to Etsteria and drop all of your cargo, also picking up any new task from southwest. Finally, drop off the rest of your cargo at Relica and grab any other task from there. Once done, rinse and repeat going to the ports southeast to fill up the tasks and then start at Alderin again. Despite its random nature, with all ports at your disposal and good RNG, efficient courier tasks can be anywhere between 150 to 180,000 experience per hour with the Rosewood Hull of course, and the 5 crewmates. This obviously goes down if you have less ports at your disposal, but being able to do at least a few tasks on this long route could yield anywhere between 80 and 120,000 experience when you're starting out, depending on RNG and performance. The second to last method we'll be looking at are bounty tasks. I will explain how I personally do this, which has gotten me pretty quick kills, but at the time of making this video, experience per hour from this activity is subpar, and you'll mostly be doing this for valuable drops. For it, I heavily recommend the Sloop unlocked at level 50. Great white sharks can drop dragon salvaging hooks for salvaging, dolphins and orcas can drop echo pearls for trawling, armored and vampire krakens can drop a bottle storm, and albatrosses can drop swift feathers, just to mention a few. These have an even bigger fluctuation than courier tasks, so XP and money rates are way up in the air, especially with the market still settling on these prices. You will see approximate experience rates on screen when prompted. Your ship should consist of the best core parts you're able to afford or gather, since we want as much resistance and HP as possible. Your facilities will be 2 cannons, 2 kegs, ideally with Peril Dance Bitter and Horizon's Lure, and other additions to travel easier such as the Teleport Focus, Wind or Gale Catcher, and a Crystal Extractor. Your crew will consist of 1 member with high helmsmanship, 2 members with high privateering, and 1 with high deck handiness. I would suggest Adventurer Ada to navigate, Olga and the Jittery Jim for the cannons, and Cabin Boy Jenkins on repairs. You will want to build a cargo hold to place both cannonballs and repair kits for your crew to use. Go to the highest port you have access to, and accept the tasks either closest to you or the ones which will have you kill creatures with a juicy loot. You can hover over these tasks to see how much experience each task will give you, so I recommend signing up for the best ones you can. Embark your ship and assign your crew to their positions with a panel on the bottom right. When you arrive at your location, you can do one of 2 things. If the creatures you need to kill are small enough and you're in a multi-combat area, get in the middle of the pack so both cannons can attack while you DPS the enemies down with ranged or magic. Alternatively, if the enemies are big enough, you can line up your boat to be adjacent to the creature so both cannons can shoot. Or just to jiggle the boat from one side to another for both cannons to attack, while you deal damage yourself in between the shots. When the creatures die, their corpses will be available for you to loot. Get close and click on them for your character to cast a net to recover their bodies, and you'll get some items for your troubles. What you're looking at are, let's call them rare creature parts like Hunter Rumors, which have a pretty good chance of appearing, so your task won't take an ungodly amount of time. The harder the task, the more parts you will need to collect. So stay at your chosen location to kill creatures until you gather all the parts you need, and go back to the port you grabbed the task at. Right-click the port manager to claim rewards, and you will get a chunky drop of experience for your troubles, along with a little bit of GP. I can see this being a ton of fun, but as it stands, ship combat is extremely clunky, and Jagex said that they are looking to improve it in the near future. Until then, it is up to you to choose if you want this to be part of your journey to 99. I will explain the last method briefly simply because, again, at the time of making this video, this is the worst experience per hour for both sailing and fishing, and I'm of course talking about sea trawling. This is by far one of the most fun training and resource gathering methods in the game, but experience is just so dogshit that it is not very enticing. If you're more interested in it, I will have another live commentated explanation linked down below, and a big thank you to one of our Discord members, Hansi, for explaining this to me in greater detail. Your boat will consist of the best core parts you can build: 2 nets, a chump station, a crystal extractor, 2 kegs, a wind catcher, ideally a teleport focus, and the best cargo hold you can build. On your crew, you want someone with high helmsmanship and 2 people with high deck handiness. I will explain how to do this with the halibut shoals, and you can follow the same instructions to adapt to any of the shoals you're seeing on screen. The higher the level, the more difficult it becomes. Buy or make camphor crates and add ice coolers to them. You should also put either regular or fine fish offcuts in your cargo hold, and assign a crew member to navigate the ship, 1 on the second net, and 1 on the chump station. But before we go, we need to do one more thing. Download a plugin called Watchdog. Click on this icon on the sidebar, and then go to the Google Doc in the description to copy the text. Go back to Runelite and export, which will have all of these options appear. This is all you need to know for the next step to be mindless. Wait west of Port Roberts for the shoal to appear. When it stops, park your ship on top of it. Right-click your net to lower it, and then tell your crewmate to lower it as well with a control panel. If you follow the plugin instructions, a yellow or red box will appear on screen, telling you to either lower or raise your nets. You can also control their height with a control panel we have been using. You will see a blue bar on top of the shoal, and when it's about to deplete, get ready to move. Every time you are on top of the spot, or you follow it around, you will gain sailing experience. And when you successfully manage the nets, this will also give you fishing experience. Every now and then you want to right-click your net to select empty, and pick the option to send the fish to your cargo hold, which will fill up the crates with 10 fish each. For bluefin and the marlin shoal, available at levels 87 and 91 respectively, it is highly recommended to build a rosewood hull to keep up with the fish. But at the time of making this video, this goes for above 100 million GP in materials, and I can guarantee you that you won't be making that money back anytime soon. In terms of experience, you're looking at no more than 50k sailing and a 31k fishing experience per hour at the highest level. And as you can tell, this doesn't really compete with any of the other methods at similar levels. If this gets a buff in the future, I'll be making a dedicated video for it, because it had me going around in circles for quite a while. For now, it seems like it will just be resource gathering for irons and collection log hunters. So ladies and gentlemen, time for the moment you've all been waiting for. How do you get from levels 1 to 99 sailing, and which roadmaps do I recommend? Let's take a look at quite a few of these, and then you can let me know what you think in the comments. Let's do a balanced route first. Follow the early game from 1 to 30, consisting of courier tasks and early game quests. And then try out Barracuda Trials until around level 53 for you to try Shipwreck Salvagin. Stick to whatever method you like the most until about level 56 to be able to have up to 4 courier tasks at a time, and do efficient deliveries. Your next goal is either 76 or 80 to have access to both all ports and the highest tier of bounty tasks for money making. And from there on out, do whichever one you like the most. The fastest way to get 99 sailing is very simple. Early game from 1 to 30, Temper Tantrum from 30 to 55, the Jubbly Jive from 55 to 72, and the Gwyneth Glide from 72 to 99. At nearly 200,000 experience per hour, this is very hard to ignore. To play the game without playing the game, follow the early game route from levels 1 to 30, Do Shipwreck Salvagin near port from 30 to 42. Build a salvaging station and go to a recommended shipwreck from 42 to 50. And then upgrade your ship for 2 hooks. We will be abusing this from 50 all the way to 99 at the highest location you're able to salvage, not forgetting about the crystal extractor at level 73. The money-making route is also pretty simple, but will take a good while to start kicking in. And the drops are just so rare that you may go heavily dry and start questioning your sanity. We are focusing on Courier Tasks from early game at around level 70, and then getting the highest bounty tasks you can grab. All in all, these roadmaps may feel a little restricted, but being Oldschool's first new skill, I'm sure Jagex didn't want to deviate too much from the pillars of leveling up. Balanced experience with profit, fast experience for low or no GP, big profit for low experience, and AFK activities for the employed. This skill was a massive success in my opinion, and future changes may only make it better. Except of course for that dogshit nerf to experience made last week, which I'm pretty sure we will know more about by now, or shortly after this video. So boys and girls, that's pretty much it for this massive guide. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something useful. If you did, tell me what your favorite sailing training method is and why, and if you include the term RSN and your username in your comment, you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway, for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. I want to give a gargantuan thank you to all the people you see on screen for supporting this project I love so much with a monthly subscription. My family and I cannot thank you enough for it, and if you like what I do here, click the join button below to see all of the cool benefits you can get in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord for a monthly fee. In the next one, we will go over all the new training methods sailing brought with it, and I will show you experience per hour for all of them. For now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.